your door. Couldn't bear to call.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to our show today, our webinar about my 8 rules to live by. And I wanted just to welcome Anissa again. So it's so much fun to talk to you.
I know. I just love talking to you. And I love that we have this technology that we can see each other too.
I know. It's so cool, huh? I just wanted to sort of go over how we met. Which was, I don't know, 2004 or 2005, at Joe Polish's boot camp for carpet cleaners and restorers. And then gradually over the years, we became more friendly. And then we started going on vacation together to the Caribbean and just started talking about all sorts of stuff. Very deep conversations sometimes, and lots of tears flowed and lots of giggles happened, but eventually we came to the point we are today, right?
Yep.
And then last time we were on vacation together in St. Martin, we were all saying, as well as Diane Morano-Smith, who's unable to join us, we said, we really should start helping women. And we've been saying this for like 4 or 5 years. And so after that conversation, we said, well, okay, so what are we going to call it? How are we going to do it? And here we are. So back then, Anissa and I came up with the name, the Radiant Enchantress Initiative. And the Radiant Enchantress Initiative and its mission is to offer solutions, motivation, and assistance to women in their quest for their own defined success, and to help them ensure the safe, healthful upbringing of their children. So that's really very important to us. And so, Anissa, tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be where you're at right now, just briefly.
I want to just definitely say right up front, thank you so much to Eugene for encouraging me and supporting me in reaching and putting myself out there. Because I will guarantee without you, I would not be sitting here on this video today with you. So I appreciate that and love you very much for that. Excuse me.
Sorry, it's okay.
Okay. So, I'm just honestly a country girl, grew up on a apple orchard in a very tiny town in the state of Washington, and definitely had a challenging childhood, to say the least. But got married at a very young age. Actually married my high school sweetheart at just 17. 4 children, and now, as of officially 3 days ago, 4 grandchildren later. Just had a new grandbaby. We are been married about 32 years, and life has definitely turned out in ways that I never imagined. And I'm very motivated and very passionate about talking to women and young girls and really helping them to understand that, just because life started out a certain way for you does not mean that's the way or direction that your life needs to go. And you can do whatever you want in this life. Your dreams, your possibilities are limitless. And my hope is to be able to encourage other young women who, like myself, just, are struggling in their young life, or realize that, there must be something better out there. And maybe they've had some challenges with feeling hopelessness and that sort of thing. And whether that had anything to do with their upbringing as a child or just maybe this place that they're at in life, I'm very passionate about that. So now I live on the beach in the state of Washington, which I absolutely love. And I never would have thought that would have been a possibility for me, and run about 3 businesses that we have, a couple of LLCs that we run together, my husband and I, and life is very peaceable for me, and I have amazing women such as yourself in my life that I'm very close to, and there's some really key factors that I'm happy we're together here, Jane, to share with everyone that has really helped me to have peace, balance, and quality interaction and with people in my life every day, and have good people around me to support me. So I'm just very, very excited to be here today with you on the webinar and talking to everyone.
Yeah, I know. Well, thank you for sharing. So for me, we all have challenges, maybe some less than others, but I went through being overweight and then bullied at school. I was dyslexic, and my English teacher told me I would never amount to anything. So the first, I don't know, 45 years or so of my life, I believed that I couldn't really achieve anything. I just was doing the best I possibly could, but it was never really very much, and I never really put myself out there until after we met, and then I started to learn that, okay, so I could really do something with my life and help and change people's lives for the better. And so that was like a real, like, wow, I can actually do this. And so that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about making sure that every woman, every young woman in this world knows that if they want something, they can do it. And if they believe it, it will happen. And, but they need, I think we all need someone who is there to help us, who is going to be a mentor, and also tools that are made available to us so that we can find the peace in our lives and find the confidence in our lives and find our voice, right? As women, we're always told, or society tells us that we should be sort of in the background and not doing what we're really supposed to be doing, and being successful, either professional or entrepreneurs or what have you. So that is my passion, and my passion is to make sure that every woman, wherever they come from, whatever color their skin is, whatever their story is, they should be able to be successful.
And you know, Jane, one of the conversations you and I had on the patio there on Island was, we were talking about, you know, in our lives, we have had a couple of key people that have really, really affected us and really shifted our direction, right? People that resonated with us, that supported us, that believed in us and helped us, and, you know, like a mentor, if you will. And so that was what you and I talked about, wanting to be able to provide that, be that voice that hopefully some woman, young woman, older woman, doesn't matter, someone watching this webinar can maybe relate to and feel like we can maybe happen to have said the sentence, the word, given them the tool or the exercise that's going to change the direction of their life and get them going in the right track.
Yeah. So about 4 years ago, I wrote a book called Living and Succeeding, and it's got a subtitle, The Memoirs of a Dyslexic Entrepreneur. Don and I, my husband and I, own or run three businesses, as well as one foundation, which is part of what we're talking about today. And so we created the Radiant Enchantress Initiative, and as part of that, we started these podcasts. And we've talked about my 8 rules to live by. We've got a podcast on each one of them. And today we're just going to go through them one by one and give you all some things that you might be able to start doing in your life, just to start tweaking things, just to like push yourself in the right direction. So the first one that we're going to talk about is everything is connected. We are at a cellular level are the same as everything in on the planet. So trees, rocks, what have you, all have the same cells. It's just that we all have different makeup, and then we look different out on the outside. And if we're all connected, then we really must love everything and everyone equally. There shouldn't be no hate, because we're all the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone who you come in contact with, give them love and respect, and not to worry about what they look like, or what they sound like, or sometimes it's difficult to understand people from different countries, or who speak different languages. But if you take the time and the patience, then you never know what you're going to find, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that we have to hang out and have dinner and completely socialize all the time with everybody because we're all connected. That's not what we're saying. But to not love others, just love them and let them be who they are, is like not loving yourself. If this is really true, right, and we really think about it, we're all connected, then if we don't love others, then we're not loving ourselves.
Right, exactly.
Mm.
So it's really important to remember that one. Then the next one I want to talk about is living in the present moment, Anissa. Really important, right?
It is very important. This was probably one of the things that I learned that completely changed my life. I was an extremely fearful person when this all started really coming around for me. I was 38 years old. And when I first did a event, if you will, a workshop, and really understood what that meant. And I didn't realize until then that I was completely not living in the present, because in the present, you do not have stress and anxiety and fear unless you're obviously something, happens in the moment. If you get in the middle of a car wreck, yes, there's going to be some stress and anxiety, right? That's going to happen. But generally speaking, there's not fear in the present moment. Usually fear, anxiety, those are things that we're stressing about that might happen, that could happen. And when you're living like that and you aren't being in the present moment, you miss so much. That is where the real peace and joy and connectivity happens. And I just learning that and learning how to be present, it was such a life altering thing for me. And as I know, Jane, the big thing for me, I just want to share this, that I do this almost daily and ground myself, is I live about a 4-minute walk off of the Pacific Ocean on a sandy beach. And I walk down there almost every day with my cart, and I kick my flip-flops off in even cold weather. Doesn't matter. I might have a jacket on, but I'm barefoot so I can touch the sand. And I walk for 1 to 2, up to 4 miles at a time on the beach, and I pick up debris that washes in from the ocean. And that is my getting grounded and very present, and being very aware of where I'm at, how I'm feeling, and with myself. And it has literally altered my life beyond belief. So whoever's listening to this right now, you need to find a way to get yourself present. Sometimes it's a form of meditation, whatever that is, but realize that if you aren't living in the moment, you're really not living. You're just probably existing maybe and going day to day.
Yeah, one of the things we did at the Root Strength Retreat a couple of years ago, if you remember, if you plant your feet, especially with your bare feet, like you do on the beach every day, there is a special connectivity that we have with the earth, and it really does chemically help you to get grounded and be in the present moment. So if you can get outside and plant your feet in the ground, I'm not going to do it today. We just had about 3 feet of snow. So barefoot outside right now would be a little bit of a challenge, but still, the idea is to get your feet firmly planted on the ground. And whether it's walking or standing or whatever it is you're going to do, and stand there and just think about that moment, because there really is no fear right then and there. And one of the other things that I like to mention to people is I used to have a terrible fear of speaking in public. Like doing these things that we're doing now, like 10 years ago, I would definitely not have done it. But when I get the butterflies in my tummy, like I said in the live broadcast the other day, when I get those butterflies, I know I'm moving towards my goals. I'm moving forward into the success that I want to be. And so I don't stop anymore when I feel those and move away from them. I move through it. And if you can move through those signs, and you can also like tell your brain, your brain is telling you this is dangerous. You have to stop doing this, and you say thank you for that and move through it. I'm not going to listen to you today. Okay. So those are a couple of things you can do. Get grounded. Make sure you're telling your brain that if you know that there's no real danger, then make sure you tell your brain that it's okay. Right.
Right.
So then the next rule is to love unconditionally, which is, we touched a bit on it when we were talking about everything being connected. But I'll just mention my Don and I have an 8-second rule, and then maybe you
love that.
Yeah, isn't that great? So we try to practice this. This is not always easy to do, but the 8-second rule is, so when you're on the highway and you've got some lovely person behind you who's right on your butt, shall I say, or you're like doing the speed limit, even more than the speed limit, and they pass you. You know what you would normally say if you were in the car on your own. I know what you would normally say. So, so what you got to do is say, okay, you give them 8 seconds. You say what you need to say, whatever that might be. And I'm not going to be rude on this webinar today, but whatever you need to say, but within 8 seconds, you have to turn around and say, I love you. And see what that does for you in any circumstance. If anybody pisses you off in the grocery store or wherever you are, walking down the sidewalk, use the 8-second rule, because then you tell them you love them, even if they can't hear you. It changes your attitude completely.
You know what I love? When you shared that with me, that's been like my favorite thing ever. And I do it now. I do it now when I find myself getting upset with somebody. And what I love so much about that exercise, Jane, is you aren't doing it for the other person. I mean, you are, because number one, you're voicing that. So the vibration that you're putting out there, which we're going to talk more about later, is obviously you're putting that out to that person. But you're really doing it for yourself.
Yes.
Like you're releasing yourself of all of that stress and angst and anger. And that's the stuff that kills us. This is the stuff that gives people, heart attacks and brings on, all kinds of, stress has even been linked to cancer, for Pete's sake. So it really does kill us from the inside out. And yet we're doing it to ourselves. And so we think that we're just, that person, because they did something that we feel was wrong or whatever. You know what? Maybe they're not present. Maybe they're not even aware of us. Maybe they're stressed and hurried to get somewhere on their own, and they're just not even thinking that they're tailgating us. You know what? Say your thing, like you said. I love that whole 8-second thing. And then tell them that you love them. Let it go, because you're doing it for yourself. That is part of getting in the moment, right? Being present.
Yep.
Right. That exercise I love, because it does both things. Love unconditionally. You're back to present in the moment, and you have peace.
Yes. And I think the actual voicing of I love you changes your brain completely. It like switches everything around. It's like, how could you be angry when you say that? Right?
Exactly.
It's really interesting. For sure. So, living in an attitude of gratitude. This is also so very important, I think. And if you are not grateful for what you have in your life already, the universe will never give you any more.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I like to do every day is while I'm walking, which is my form of meditation as it is yours. While I walk, when I do this like breathing exercise. And in the breathing exercise, when I inhale the love that the world around me is giving me, and I exhale the gratitude for all that is being, all that I have, all that I may have, everything that may come into my life.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, this is right up there for me with being present and living in the moment. A wonderful, amazing man that I know you and I both are friends with, Sean.
Mm.
I'll never forget, he really, really hit this home one day. And he said, you know, if you're feeling bad, if you feel like you don't have hope in your life right now, if you're just really feeling depressed and you're just really not feeling like, you know, you can just get out there and take the world on and make your dreams come true and do your thing. He said, there's only one thing you've got to do. You've got to change your attitude to gratitude, because when you're in gratitude, you cannot be hopeless, angry, depressed, feel lonely. It's impossible. Like, just try it. Like, even if things are just, I don't know where you're at listening to this right now. You could be in just a really awful place in your life. You could emotionally be at rock bottom. Maybe you're just really there right now. I don't know. You could have horrible financial hardships. You might even be watching this or listening to this, and maybe you're even homeless right now. I'm not sure what your condition is or circumstance, but you can still be grateful for something. And all you have to do is think, stop, get yourself quiet, and think about something. What am I happy for? What am I glad is in my life? What am I grateful for? Are you grateful that you can breathe in deep through your nose and out through your mouth? Are you grateful you can breathe in air? Do you have water to drink? Are you grateful for that? Of course you are. Are you able to have food to put in your tummy? Well, then we can be grateful for that. Are you stressed financially, but you have a beautiful child by your side that you were able to give birth to and bring into this world? Well, that's something huge to be grateful for. And when you start thinking like this, you're gonna, like we've been talking about, you're gonna feel a shift happen in your brain, in your thoughts, in your mind, which is going to completely alter you on a physical cellular level. And that's where these 8 rules that we're talking to you about can start changing your life right here, right where you're at. Mm-hmm. So really, really, really think about that. There's always something you can, maybe it's the beautiful flower that you can look out your window right now and see blooming. Maybe maybe it's the sunshine that you happen to see. Maybe it's the rain. Maybe you live in a drought area and it's pouring rain right now. Well, you can be grateful for the rain. So, really think about that. Start simple, start small if you need to, but getting yourself to some gratitude will help you so much feel better, and it will give you strength.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Anissa. Beautiful. Well said. Mm-hmm. So then the next rule is to find peace every day. So this one can be a little challenging, especially if you live in a big city and or have a family or whatever is going on in your life. But if you make space for peace in your life, just a few minutes, you can lock yourself in the bathroom if you don't have anywhere else to be. Mm-hmm. But if you carve out just a few minutes to turn off whatever is going on in your life, all the technology, all the people, all the chatter and everything, and then do some deep breathing, right? Mm-hmm. And if you can, and this is what I prefer, if you can, get out into nature, and be one with your surroundings, and try to get your brain to stop all of the chatter. Let it be quiet. And if you practice this on a regular basis, I do it daily, as I know you do, it really does change the way you are, how you show up in the world. You know, people will find you calmer. When I first started doing this, one of the I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but one of the things I used to do was try to overachieve and try to keep everybody happy.
Oh yeah. I'm sure none of us have ever done
that. Oh my goodness. I would try to have family parties, and I would get, by the time everybody got there, I was so stressed. I was almost in tears. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when I started doing this sort of thing, one of our family members came to me and said, "Wow, you're so calm." And it was like night and day. When I learned this, it was within a month, I shifted everything, and I all of a sudden didn't care. It was okay. If somebody was late or they couldn't come or whatever was going on, it was okay.
Mm-hmm. You know, Jane, I got to tell you, that is something I love so much and appreciate about you. And you've helped me with that a lot. That was actually something that I didn't come into until actually just the last probably, 4 years or so. And I had a woman in my life who I love very much and I'm very close to, who came up to me and said, how are you so happy? Like, what do you do? Like, you are so happy all the time. You never get upset. You're always peaceable. And I'm like, number one, wow, she's not in my head.
Yeah,
it was just funny to hear her say that. But that's what I was putting out, right? That's what she was getting from me when she's around me, and she's around me a lot. And I just thought, wow, I really had to think about it. And I said, well, I kind of make my own peace. And that's what you're talking about. People will rob you of your peace. They will rob you of your peace 1,000 times a day, all of the time, only if you let them. Mm-hmm. So don't let them, and don't let other people's anxiety and stress become yours. Right. That is a great way to get your own peace every day.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So the next couple, when we first talked about these, I remember we were like, okay, so how are we going to explain these? So I'll do what I did before. Yes. And then people can make up their own minds about this. But we are all beings of light, right? We often get complimented that your eyes are sparkling, yes, or you've got a great smile, or one of those, some things like that. Those are all related to people seeing your light, right? Yes. So 8 years ago or so, 9 years ago or so, Dawn and I both went on a retreat to the mountains in Utah. We were up at 12,000 feet, and this young lady was doing these meditations every morning. And she was talking about your light and all of this stuff. And I was working through this meditation, and I could see my light churning in my belly, okay? And as she went up through the chakras, my light sprouted out of my head. And it was so moving and beautiful. I had my eyes closed, but the tears were just flowing down my face, because I had no idea that I had this light in me until that day. Mm-hmm. And I went on that same retreat the following year, and she did the same thing again. Mm-hmm. And so I guess my message to this is that you may not know of your light, you may not have seen your light, but if you can start to believe that it's there, it would already make a difference. If you can find a meditation specialist who can help you with that, then do it. Because
Mm.
if you can, if you can see it, it changes your life. It literally changes your life.
Mm-hmm. And coming from a person who I've never had that experience before, but I know that I have done a lot of work on, and I believe that all of us have that light in us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that I've felt it. I've felt it in the years that I've been doing, these kind of grounding exercises and things, and started believing, and it has changed how I interact and react to circumstances in my life and those around me. And it has helped me grow a lot. So definitely don't be, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't be put off or nervous about what Jane just shared, because I've not had that experience. I know of other women and men who have, but it's okay. Just be open to the possibility that that's there in you. Okay. Because that will alter and help you with these steps that we're talking about, make a
Mm-hmm.
tremendous impact in your life. So just be open to that possibility.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you. So a couple of things you could maybe do is like every morning when you get up,
Mm-hmm.
go to the mirror in the bathroom. If you wash your face or do whatever, look in that mirror and smile to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it just changes the way you see yourself,
Yeah.
and it changes the way your whole body feels if you smile. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's one thing you could do every day that would really help and change some things. Another thing might be to just laugh hysterically. Just like just laugh hysterically. I mean, isn't laughing such good stuff for the
Mm-hmm.
soul? Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's good for you. It's good for your soul, and that's another thing you can possibly do every day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, anyway, it's an interesting topic. I think a couple of people that might listen to this might think it's part of what that woo-woo stuff is,
Right.
but it's not actually when it actually happens to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one is staying in your highest vibration. And I guess what I mean by that is you have to be really careful of your thoughts, because your thoughts are energy. Whatever you are thinking, and I still have issues with this. I sometimes feel like things. I'll go for days, and I'm moving in the right direction. I'm in full belief that this is going to happen, whatever it is I'm doing. And then there'll be one day, and bam, something happens, and I say, how on earth is that going to happen? And as soon as I think that, my vibrations go down,
Mm-hmm.
and you can feel it stop working. Like the momentum stops, and you have to say, okay, I have to stop that and regroup and get back on the right track.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it happens to me still, and it's really hard.
I think this is probably one of the two toughest of the 8 steps, to be honest, at least that I find. And I'm with you, Jane. I know it has happened so many times in my life that my thoughts have directly affected literally what is happening to me. It is, look, I used to be so afraid to fly. I had to take medication. I had to start taking medication to get in the car to drive to the airport when I lived an hour and a half away. So I started taking medication hours before I ever got on the plane, so that by the time I got near the runway, I was like pretty much comatose, right? That's how I got on an airplane.
Jeez.
That was all in my head. It
Yeah.
was all my thoughts. So what Jane just said is so powerful. Your thoughts absolutely become vibration. Okay. It does. It's their energy. It will affect you. And if you don't believe me, right now, start thinking about someone you love that you've lost, and how fast does your entire body shift. And those who are around you will look over and think, wow, is she okay? I wonder what's going on. I haven't said a word, but all I got to do is think about that person. So it's really, really, and this is tough because I find myself doing it too. I find myself getting, annoyed with that person. Again, the 8-second rule, he passes me. And so then I, half hour later, I'm still thinking about this person or this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, I just wasted a half an hour and all this negativity. You find yourself doing that. And so it is a challenge for me that I'm constantly working on. It's not something that you just go, oh, got my thoughts under control, got that down, we'll move on to the next thing. For me, it is a constant. And that's where the grounding, the beach walking, the meditation helps me get, okay. Because all of this, are you guys all seeing that these are all linked, right? Because when you're present and you're loving and you are, aware of your inner light, you start think your thoughts are affected, right? Well, we're talking about how your thoughts are vibration. So what you're thinking and putting out there is going to come back at you, right? That vibration is like a boomerang. What you put out there, you will get back, and it comes back to you tenfold. So you see how these are all connected. All of these 8 steps are connected, and it's okay to just take one at a time and focus on it. Get a little bit going on that. Okay, go to the next one. It's not about perfection, it's progress.
Absolutely. So you have to be just aware of those negative thoughts because they will bring you down very quickly. The last rule is to forgive. And so this was from Sean Stevenson. This is the one I learned from him. And that is, if you harbor all of these bad feelings about somebody because they upset you, they did something wrong to you, or you don't like how they did something, it's not bringing them down, it's bringing you down. So if you have someone in your life that has really upset you, they may be long gone. They may not be in your life anymore. It may be somebody who did something to you when you were a child. It may be something that someone did to you when you first started work, or you went somewhere on a trip. They may still be in your life, or they may not be in your life. But if you just write them a letter, write it down, release all of that hatred or whatever it is you're feeling in your body, and write it down, write a long letter about it to that person. And then you don't necessarily have to mail it, but the action of getting rid of that feeling from your body releases you from that negativity that you're feeling. So have you ever done that?
Oh yeah, probably. This was the biggest, most difficult, and yet most transforming of the 8 rules to live by for me in my life. And I'll never forget the day that I did that exact exercise. And when someone told me that I needed to, it was a particular person, that I needed to forgive this person.
Yep.
I thought they had lost their mind. I was like, are you joking? I thought, okay, I was at an event, a retreat basically. And I thought, I just wasted my money on this because you people do not know what you're talking about. I mean, I was like, how can that be? But I had confused forgiveness with condoning. So to forgive someone, you do not have to be okay with what they did. That's not what this conversation is about. You do not have to be around them in your life, because this person that I forgave, I've not been around this person in probably 25 years and never will be again. However, it was very important for myself to release the actual hate, because I didn't just have anger, I had hate very deep down in my soul over this circumstance. And it was literally killing me. It was killing me. And I did the exercise. I wrote the letter, wrote everything. It was pages and pages. Took me, I don't even know how long it took me to do, hours. And it was, I mean, I was bawling most of the time, all of that. Then after I wrote the letter, they told me, read it out loud. Call the person if you can and read it to them, which that was not an option. So I read it out loud. Again, probably one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. But the vibration of the word, see, that's what we're talking about with the energy, right?
Yeah.
So I read it out loud, and then I burned it. And I was actually staying at a hotel. I got a little nervous. So I didn't want to set the
fire alarms off.
but the burning of it, again, was kind of a symbolic thing that released me and him forever from my hate.
Yeah.
And this shifted my life. It was the beginning of the big change for me. And I was 38 years old when I did this. And I had a lot of anger in me for about 30 years over this circumstance. And when I came home from this event, and for the following week, everyone, my children, my 4 children, my husband, who had been my husband for 20 plus years, everyone was coming up to me and saying, Mom, you're different. Like, I physically looked different immediately to people. And it was amazing to me. Lifelong friends, people I'd known for 10, 12 years, 15 years, were coming up to me and going, wow, you're like glowing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so huge. If you have anything in your life, anything that you're holding on to, this exercise, and you may need to get someone to help you, through this,
right?
Because I could not have done this on my own. But this exercise is so powerful, and it's not just for the other person, because it is for the other person, right? It's part of the unconditional love, but it's really for you. And what it will do to release you, I promise you, is it's just transformational.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Powerful stuff, Anissa Coy. So those are the 8 rules to live by. And I thought we'd just take a minute now to just briefly chat about the Radiant Enchantress Initiative and what we have going with that and what we have planned, not necessarily already started. But we've started the podcasts, and those are going great. In fact, I've got another lady signed up to do one. I haven't got it set up yet, but all of them are, they feature subjects and women that have come from nothing and who are now extremely successful human beings. Some of the other programs and things that we have going, we'd have an online resource at magicalearthwomen.com, where you'll find the podcast, inspirational books, websites, and it's growing as time goes by. We also wish to offer day-long and weekend retreats, which would include inspirational speakers, empowering exercises, and other tools for the audience. And then we have been talking about doing a conference or a virtual summit once a year or so. And we have currently talked about doing one at the end of April, beginning of May sometime. So watch out for that. We also have a group of ladies who are willing to speak at your conference, wherever the conference may be. And we have that on the website as well. Now, this is all part, Magical Earth Women and the Radiant Enchantress Initiative, a part of Magical Earth Retreats, which Don and I created nearly 10 years ago. And what we do is we started out running children's day camps. And now we run the women's programs, and we can also include the childcare portion of it if we want to add that to any other women's programs that we do. We also want to do a one-on-one mentorship program for women who are possibly going for a job and need help with preparing for and applying for jobs and going to the interview, and how to present themselves at the interview, right? And then the most exciting part is the Radiant Enchantress Retreat, which Anissa and I will be co-facilitating in Costa Rica October 21st to the 27th. And we are so excited. You can go to magicalearthwomen.com and there's a registration page and lots of information about what it is we're going to be doing. And part of what we will be doing is studying these 8 rules to live by. And if you sign up and get registered with a deposit before March 31st, you use the coupon code Lucky Lady, you get $200 off.
And Jane, is it still possible at this point to break up the cost of the retreat to some payments, right? So it can be kind of planned out. Yeah,
we have a monthly payment plan that you can apply for online.
And I just want to put out there that, you know, Jane and I are very, very, very dedicated and committed to helping you. You know, these rules that we went through and the retreat where we're going to go really deep into this stuff and do a lot of exercises, and you'll be able to find that information there on the website that Jane just talked about. We're here and for you. And if you have questions, or maybe there's a woman out there that has a story that she'd like to share, you know, please be sure and reach out to one of us.
Yeah, so when we post this afterwards, I'll put all of the information, all the contact information and websites so people know how to contact us.
Exactly.
So this is great. Thanks so much, Anissa. It was lovely to talk to you.
Oh, yes. You too, Jane, as always, dear. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.